Hey, what's up everyone? It's Dan the Movie Man with another big show for you today. Well, today's the last day of fan season, and I know it's been a while since I've done a new episode, but as you can tell, I've been working a lot. I'm back in school now, so I really have a tight schedule on me. So thank you all for being patient. And for those of you wondering who always ask, when's the next episode going to be out? The best answer? When it's done. Just to let you know. Now that we got that out of the way, these are the great movies that we're going to be talking about today. I got so many great things to talk about. We have Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Our Idiot Brother, Warrior, and 50-50. I'm going to get to the late review. I got some big news later on, including the results from last month's or 2 months ago questions. Today's questions, a trivia question, and something special in that reward. With that all said, let's start with Rise of the Planet of the Apes, starring James Franco, Frida Pinto, John Lithgow, Brian Cox, Tom Felton, and Andy Serkis. Now this is a prequel / reboot of the classic TV movie or show. Before I continue on, let me just say I never grew up with Planet of the Apes. I absolutely know nothing. I know jack about it. So I came in with new eyes and a new experience to know what this is going to be like. Anyway, the movie starts off with a scientist played by James Franco, and in the previews they've always been saying we call it the cure, but what the cure is exactly is that he's working on a cure for Alzheimer's, and he uses it on apes because he doesn't want to use human trials, probably because someone will die in the process and they don't want to take that risk. So yeah, endanger an animal's life. But it does work on one of the apes, but they don't know that. They think that the ape was going crazy, but it was just her protecting her child, which is actually the main character, Caesar, played by Andy Serkis, who you might also remember as Gollum from Lord of the Rings and King Kong in, King Kong. Anyway, so James Franco takes him home, and we meet James Franco's father, played by John Lithgow, and it turns out that he has Alzheimer's as well. That will probably be the reason why James Franco wants to use that cure in the first place, because, he wants his father to be healthy again. And so he keeps Caesar for a long time, for 3 years, and he teaches him sign language, and due to the cure formula thing that was used on his mom, it infected him and gave him the intelligence that any human being would have, maybe even larger than that. We also meet Frida Pinto, who also is James Franco's love interest. And you might remember her as the love interest in Slumdog Millionaire, and you can also see her as the love interest in the new upcoming film Immortals, which I will be seeing that, just to let you know. And there's a little situation happens between John Lithgow and his namer because of his disease. And, it leads Caesar to being angry and just taking it out on the neighbor who is pretty much verbally abusing Lithgow. But, they call animal control, or he calls it, or someone calls it. I really need to pay attention a lot more often. So yeah, Caesar is brought to this institute with all these other apes and is run by Brian Cox and his son, played by Tom Felton, who is also Draco Malfoy. Now, I gotta say, I would say that Tom Felton is a little bit more of a realistic jerk than he is in the Harry Potter movies. And also, he's very good at hiding his British accent, which is what I want to mention. And then later on, what happens later in the prison where Caesar believes that apes should be free and wild and should be treated like any other human being because of the symptoms that went through his mind. The cure. Well, it turns out also the cure, while it may work on apes, it kills humans, which is probably how the invasion where the apes took over the planet all happened. And yeah, so Caesar also befriends a gorilla, an orangutan, and a few other apes to help lead his army to take over the world, or yeah, something like that. So here is my review on this. It's actually very, very good. I was shocked on how good it was. One thing that these reboots have had a lot to do with was that one thing was that people who were not familiar with the source material will probably like it more than the regular fans, or people who were not fans will love it more. And I believe that's true because I saw the recent Star Trek 2 years ago, and it just blew my mind. Same goes with, what's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. X-Men First Class. That was kind of a reboot because of the continuity errors that wouldn't lead to the other X-Men movies where you think, oh, that never happens, or how does that lead up to that? And so, I went in with new eyes, did not know what to expect, and I was surprised. And, they've been saying that, they're planning on making a sequel to this, and I wouldn't be surprised because it definitely does lead off to a sequel, and I hope that they do. And if you do plan on seeing it, be sure to stay during the credits because if you're a Planet of the Apes fan, most likely, you probably don't want to miss this. Or if you're not a fan, I think you'll probably understand what happens. James Franco does a really good job. John Lithgow does an excellent job. Andy Serkis, he does not talk at all for the most part. I won't spoil anything. He deserves an Oscar for this performance. I mean, he really got into this character. The technology that they use is fantastic. I'm really loving this motion capture stuff. They use the same technology with, again, Gollum. They used it on King Kong. They even did it with, Avatar. They did the same thing with the Na'vis, same technology, what they did with Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana. And they used, Andy Serkis's facial expressions, and it really does work for him. And the apes in it don't look like people in costumes, but they actually do look like monkeys, which is a really big help. What else is there to say? Oh, I actually did find out that the ending to the movie wasn't supposed to end the way it did. It was sort of a last-minute thing, I believe. The original ending, you could check out the story on Collider.com or on any other website, whatever has that information. I guess the ending was supposed to be, darker, I suppose, or it's not very happy, but I don't think you'd probably I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. So yeah, there was supposed to be an alternate ending to it. Either A, on the Blu-ray or DVD, they're gonna have that scene as an alternate ending, or B, they're gonna have it drawn out on, what was gonna happen. So, but yeah, I thought it was very good. Probably the three best movies I've seen all summer: X-Men, Harry Potter, and Planet of the Apes. Very good. I don't know if I could say any more about it. I'm gonna give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next up, Our Idiot Brother, starring Paul Rudd, Elizabeth Banks, Emily Mortimer, Zooey Deschanel, Steve Coogan, and Rashida Jones. Now, this is a comedy that stars Paul Rudd, who is, the idiot brother. And, he gets in trouble with a police officer for, selling him marijuana, and he goes to jail for 3 months, only 3 months because of good behavior. But unfortunately, he has nowhere to live, and so he goes to his sisters, played by Banks, Mortimer, and Deschanel, and, they kind of find him to be a little bit of a pain. They love him, but due to their other work where Elizabeth Banks plays some kind of, I think, an agent for someone else, and she's trying, or reporter, I forgot what her job was, but she's trying to get an interview with someone, and the person that she interviews befriends Paul Rudd, and she tells him a story that he wasn't supposed to tell anyone else. That's the one thing that he has a problem with, is that he doesn't know when to stop, or just, to stop talking or blurt out anything. It's kind of like his own Tourette's in a way. Zooey Deschanel has an intimate relationship with Rashida Jones, and an incident happens where Paul Rudd accidentally blurts out to Rashida, and they get into a fight, and with Mortimer, we find out that her husband, played by Steve Coogan, keeps sneaking out at night, and you probably get the idea of what's been going on. Paul Rudd finds out and tells her, so they're all, or also with Banks, Paul Rudd tells her neighbor of what she said, of what she thought about him, and vice versa, of what he thought about her. Now, to them, it's bad news because it kind of screwed up their life. But he's not an idiot in his own sense, because he feels like what he's doing is right. But to them, he's, an idiot. But, it's a very good story. They learn to accept him, and, they get along with him pretty well, near the middle end somewhat. So here's my review on this. I liked it, but it wasn't what I expected it to be. It goes either two ways. It's either a comedy with high dramatic moments, or it is a drama with good comedic timing. I mean, it goes either way. Paul Rudd does a really good job at, this is probably one of my favorite roles that he did. And the characters that are portrayed in this movie are pretty three-dimensional, and how anybody would react in these situations, or, that's what I'm liking about some of these comedies or dramedies now, that the characters are very relatable and three-dimensional. I'm liking that very much, especially in movies like The Kids Are All Right and 50-50, but I'm going to get to that later. yeah, I thought the acting was great. The story was great. I didn't laugh as much as I thought I would, but there was some very funny moments in it. But I thought it was a little too dramatic at times because I went in thinking that this was a comedy. So yeah, it's half and half. Either way, yeah, you could say it's either a comedy with good dramatic moments or drama with great comedic timing. Either way, I'm going to go with 4 stars on this. Next up is Warrior, starring Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, and Nick Nolte. Now, this is a movie that's set on both Joel Edgerton and Tom Hardy, who are both brothers. Now, Joel Edgerton plays this guy who's married with 2 kids, and he's also a teacher, and I believe, yeah, he was a former fighter, and the principal finds out, what he's been doing lately. Well, because he's gone in debt, where he won't be able to live in his house for a while, he's got to find a way to make money somehow. So he goes to this bar or strip club for, fighting in a ring with mixed martial arts. And the principal of the school that he works with finds out, and then he's laid off for a while. Or not laid off, but, suspended, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, he joins some kind of UFC tournament thing where he's just trying to earn money to support his family so that they can have a roof over their head. Now, Tom Hardy's character, he plays former soldier from Iraq, and he meets up with his father, played by Nick Nolte, who was a former drunk, but he's been sober for years now, and they don't get along very well, or Tom Hardy doesn't really get along with him. He always tells him, I liked you better as a drunk. I don't know why anyone would say that. But so yeah, the reason why he's fighting is so that he wants to give the money that he wins to this woman that was his best friend's wife who was killed in combat. So he wants to donate that money to her. So yeah, so that she can help out her kids while she lives alone, which is, very reasonable. I mean, heck, if I had the chance, I'd probably do that. But if I was in better shape as those 2 guys, but what are you going to do? Anyway, they both joined the tournament, and, they're pretty much the best fighters that come along, but towards the end, they have to fight each other. So it could be anyone's bet. Now, I know who wins, but I'm not going to say who wins because that'll just beat the purpose of seeing the movie in the first place. But yeah, who do you want to win? Hardy or Edgerton? So here's my review on this. I love this movie. It is probably easily one of the best movies I've seen all year, probably even one of my favorite movies this year. Yeah, great start. I don't think I can find anything wrong with it. It's pretty much this year's fighter, maybe even better. Nick Nolte gives a very strong performance, and due to the performance that he gives, he's probably going to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. You feel kind of bad for Nick Nolte's character in the movie, though, because everyone treats him like crap, or just his brothers, because we only see him interact with his brothers for the majority of the film. But this is kind of a different role for Nick Nolte, because I usually see him crazy old people, such as in Ang Lee's Hulk or Tropic Thunder, where this, he's, more of an innocent old man that, is, It's kind of like Rocky in a way, where Tom Hardy's training and Nick Nolte is on the side just judging him on how he's doing. Hardy does a great job. Joel Edgar does a great job. Yeah, I don't think I could say anything wrong with this movie. It really does it's very emotional at times, and at the end, you kind of get the feeling like you know who's gonna win. Towards the end, it kind of leaves off with kind of cuts off in mid-sentence where the winner, not going to say who it is, walks off with the other person so that, they get some rest or get to a hospital, whether, if he's been on how badly injured he's been. And then it just cuts to the credits. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I went to go see this with Paul, who reviewed X-Men, Super 8, and Green Lantern with me 2 episodes ago, and he loved it as well. He did mention that, and he gave that 4.5 on Tomatoes. I mean, I didn't mind the ending. I mean, yeah, I would have liked to see how it would have ended, but what's unique about it, it can be anyone's ending. What happens after the person wins? You decide. You decide what happens after the movie. I'm going to leave that up to you. Or they're going to leave that up to me. And then I'm going to leave that up to you. So, with all that said, this definitely deserves a 5 out of 5. Last but not least, 50-50, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Anna Kendrick. Now, this is based off a true story about Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who goes to the doctor and finds a tumor where his spine is, and finds out that, yeah, it's some type of cancer, and he tells everyone. He tells Seth Rogen, who's his best friend, and he tries to cheer him up with, going to parties or smoking weed all the time with him, medicinal marijuana. And, he's pretty much saying, live life. I mean, the type of cancer is 50-50. And before I went to go see this movie, that's probably what it would have been like. It had a 50-50 chance of being good or bad, but it was better than I thought it would be, but I'm going to get to that later after I deal with the synopsis and story. Anna Kendrick plays Joseph Gordon-Levitt's therapist and is trying to get him to relax and to help him out, recover, or if he is going to die or not. She's trying to make him feel, not depressed, but, well, you pretty much get the idea. And Bryce Dallas Howard plays his girlfriend, and she helps him along the way towards the middle. Not going to spoil anything. Before I continue, let me just say, I've been saying with fan season, I don't think I'm going to be doing spoilers anymore, because I think that's, I don't know. Biggest movie I spoiled this year was Thor, and I don't think I'm going to do any more spoilers. And since it's the end, not even summer anymore, not going to spoil. So, yeah, then he goes and shaves his head. He goes to parties to, meet new people and to, just live life. But thinking, is he going to die? Is he not going to die? Either way, he's just going to live his life the way he wants to. And here is my review on this. Again, another fantastic movie. So far, 2011 has been very decent with me. It hasn't really disappointed me too much. The story is very good. Now it has been advertised to be a comedy. This is not a comedy. Like I said before with Our Idiot Brother, Whether It's Two Ways, 50-50 is a drama with great comedic timing. I mean, there's very dirty humor in it. That this was the same director as Superbad, to let you know. And yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt gives a very powerful performance, and I think that he should be nominated for an Oscar for this performance. Seth Rogen does a good job. Everyone did a great job. Anyway, I think I mentioned this is actually based off a true story where Seth Rogen's friend was diagnosed with cancer, but I'm not going to say whether he lives or dies because that will pretty much spoil the movie. I would definitely go see this again. I would say this is one of my favorite movies of the year. I think I've become a little bit more of a fan of Joseph Gordon-Levitt than I was before. I mean, who would have thought Tommy from Third Rock would have such a strong career today? Also, now I'm kind of a big fan of Tom Hardy now, two Inception actors. And I don't think there's anything more to talk about. Like I said, great story, great characters, very high drama. It's also got a few tear jerkers in it for comedy and for drama, so it definitely works in that sense. So with all that said, I'm going to give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now it's time to get to the late review. I know it's been a while since I've done one. Today's late review, Rio, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Anne Hathaway, and what's his name? George Lopez. Now, this is an animated movie done by the same people who did Ice Age and Despicable Me, about this type of bird who's voiced by Jesse Eisenberg, who finds out that he's the last of his species and that he has to mate with another bird voiced by Anne Hathaway. Although the problem is the bird Jesse Eisenberg plays cannot fly. He was never trained to fly. I guess that he was always an indoor bird for most of his life and was never taught. And then him and the Anne Hathaway character, bird, whatever, get captured by the poachers who are selling birds for money. And they escape. They meet a few other friends, including a toucan played by George Lopez and 2 other birds played by Jamie Foxx and will.i.am. There are a few, I wouldn't say dance numbers, but some characters break into song at some point, which really kind of confused me. I'm like, come on, we're past all this. I mean, but they're not terrible songs. I thought they were okay. I mean, nothing too special. But yeah, so the Jesse Eisenberg bird is trying to learn how to fly at the same time being chased by these poachers and another bird that's trying to, kill him or whatever. So here's my review on this. It's okay. I know animated movies have been really successful lately, and I know this one has gotten some very good reviews. Now, while still good, I didn't think it was great. Probably still the best animated movie I've seen all year is Rango. I didn't find anything too special about Rio. The animation was okay, but I didn't hate it. I mean, I was in a good mood seeing it. The animation's somewhat nice, but yeah, it's kind of the same. It is the same animators as Despicable Me. The voice acting in it is actually very well done. Jesse Eisenberg's character fits the character perfectly, and same with Anne Hathaway. George Lopez works as a toucan, and oh yeah, I forgot to mention Tracy Morgan's in this, and he plays a bulldog. Yeah, that's right. Tracy Morgan plays a bulldog. I got nothing. No. No, I thought it was good. I didn't love it. I mean, yeah, not as much as Rango or Toy Story 3. But, when I do my award portion, which is pretty soon, I think I'll probably nominate this for Best Animated Feature, same with Rango. I need to see a lot more animated movies this year so that I know what to put on the list. There's not really much to say about the movies I saw other than just, say what they're about and what I really thought about them. I mean, they're out, not Rango, Rio. Again, I'm repeating myself now. Yes, good, not great. I think I'm going to give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. Just pointing that out there. Now it's time to get the results from the last episode. In my last episode, I asked you guys which love interest did you think was more attractive in the Transformers movies, Megan Fox or Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, and most of the majority of you guys said Megan Fox. The second question was, what do you think of the Amazing Spider-Man trailer, which is also a reboot for those of you that aren't familiar with this by now. Some of you are saying, nah, I don't feel comfortable with this, but most of you are going to give this a chance. I'm going to give this a chance. The third question was whether you thought Daniel Radcliffe had the potential on pulling off other roles, or if he was going to be stuck as Harry Potter for the rest of his days. It's sort of half and half between this one. Some of you say, he'll go on and do other things, and some of you say that, he'll be stuck as Harry Potter for the rest of his life. Someone said that he would like to see Daniel Radcliffe play other roles, and he doesn't want to see him be stuck as Harry Potter for the rest of his life, which is kind of how I feel. So I still think that Daniel Radcliffe is, a very talented young man, and I think that, he could do other movies, and I can't wait to see The Woman in Black and see how he portrays this character. And the last question was, did you want to see a fourth Austin Powers movie? And as you could tell, most of you people said no. No, you don't want to see it. I think we're pretty much over that. I think I would see it eventually. I mean, depending on the mood I'm in. I would not want to, I don't think I'd see it in theaters, but I'd probably wait till it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray. So yeah, there's that. All right, now it's time for the new questions. Question number 1, now that I've reviewed Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which stars James Franco. Now, I asked this question before about Jon Hamm, whether you thought he was better as a comedic actor or a serious actor. Do you think James Franco is better as a comedic actor, like his role in Pineapple Express? Or do you think he's better as a serious actor, such as his performance in this and 127 Hours? Now, I've asked this question to some of my friends, and it was really hard to decide. Someone said that, but that's the thing. I want to challenge my viewers. I want to give them a hard decision to, have you guys really think about this. Question number 2, with all these reboots coming out, I found out that they're going to be rebooting or remaking The Crow. Now, I wouldn't mind this. I would like to see a more stylized Crow, which I will say the first one is easily the best. The other 3 suck. I know that's my own opinion, but it's true. But I wouldn't mind seeing this movie be rebooted due to the technology that we have today. I would like to see a more advanced Crow movie on what we could do with this. The problem is, the people who are responsible for this Crow reboot or remake, whatever you want to call it, they're doing it wrong. The main reason is the casting. Let me tell you the 3 actors who are supposedly to be casted as the Crow. Now, 2 of these actors I like, the other one, not so much. Bradley Cooper, not a very good idea. Mark Wahlberg, while still a great actor, I feel like he's too old for the role, and, he just does way too much. I think he doesn't seem like the person that would do something like this. I mean, same with Bradley Cooper. I think he's just, I don't know, too much of a pretty boy. I don't see those 2 fitting in the role. And the third one I especially do not see in this role whatsoever. Channing Tatum. I don't know what these people are smoking either, but who knows. Now, if I were to decide who would I want to play the Crow, probably Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, he's in the right shape for it, right age for it. With all the success he's done, I think the Crow would be if you've seen Hesher, the way how he looks in it, I think that would probably work for him as well. One of my other choices would be the guy who played Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I thought Tom Hardy would be a good choice, but I think he might be too old for the role. I always imagined the Crow, like if they did it now, would probably be in his 20s, where I think Hardy's in his mid-30s by now, or early 30s. I'll have to check on that later. But right now, I'm not liking what they're doing. So my question is, with all these reboots coming out, what is one movie you want to see rebooted? And what is one movie you would not want to see rebooted? I'll have to think on that. Question number 3. From what I hear now, with other movies being adapted, from TV shows being adapted into movies, one recent one I heard was The Twilight Zone. Now, here are the 4 directors that are the top competitors to be chosen to direct this. Christopher Nolan, Alberto, it's hard to pronounce his last name, the guy who directed Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Michael Bay, and Rupert Wyatt, however you pronounce his name. Before I go on, with these 4 choices, wasn't there something Sesame Street said about this? Oh yeah, one of these things just doesn't belong here. I'm pretty sure you could get that joke. So my question is, with these 4 who are most likely going to be directing the Twilight Zone movie, which one would you like to see direct, or who would you trust to direct the Twilight Zone movie? Any one of these 4 directors. I think I know who my top choice is. Pretty obvious. Question number 4. Now, Entertainment Weekly has said that they're going to be releasing a new issue, which is going to show some images for the new adaptation of Snow White, which is going to star Lily Collins as Snow White. And they said that this is going to be a little bit more of a darker tale, maybe like a Brothers Grimm type of thing. Or not the Brothers Grimm, where the one with Heath Ledger and Matt Damon, where they did Little Red Riding Hood. But a friend of mine told me that all these fairy tales that you see in like 2D movies like Snow White, Cinderella, or anything else that you see in 2D Disney movies, they were pretty dark stories, really. And probably that's what they're going to do with this Snow White movie, which I think I'd be interested to see. I do believe that it comes out in March. But there actually is going to be another adaptation of Snow White, which is starring Kristen Stewart, and it's going to be called Snow White and the Huntsman. The other one is untitled for right now. And I don't know. I don't see Kristen Stewart as Snow White at all. Lily Collins, I think a little too young. How old is she? I think she's 21 by now. I don't know. She still looks like a high school student, in my own opinion. Who would I get to play Snow White? I don't know. I think, I always saw Anne Hathaway as Snow White for some reason. Probably when I saw her in Alice in Wonderland, that's probably why. But what really irritates me is that, even there are these poster boards or just slides where it shows Kristen Stewart in knight's armor with a shield and a sword. Right next to her it says, Kristen Stewart is Snow White. No. 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 Kristen Stewart, we just say, now, yes, you are a very good actress, despite Twilight. You may be a very good actress, but you're not Snow White. There, I said it. I just don't see Kristen Stewart as Snow White. What? Anyway, that one comes out in June, which is also going to star Chris Hemsworth, who played Thor. Now, the actresses that are playing each queen is interesting. The Snow White with Lily Collins, the queen is going to be played by Julia Roberts, and the queen in Snow White and the Huntsman is going to be played by Charlize Theron. I think Charlize Theron as the queen is a very interesting choice. And Julia Roberts, I don't know. I mean, again, great actress. I just don't see her in that particular role. It's kind of weird. For this one, I see one person in the role, the other person not. And in this movie, same way. So my question is, which Snow White adaptation are you mostly looking forward to in 2012? The one with Lily Collins or the one with Kristen Stewart? And the last question for today, very simple. What was the best movie you've seen all summer? From May 1st to August 31st, what was the best one you've seen all of 2011? Now, I've already explained mine, but I'd like to see what you thought, and I'll give a top 5 most favorite movies of the summer of 2011. Before I go, I'm going to give this trivia question and say what the prize is. The trivia question, now that Halloween is almost coming up, what was the name of the town in Halloween? Let me know. And the winner who answers this correctly will get a free Dan the Movie Man t-shirt, whether you want it in black or you want it in white. Just let me know on the Facebook page, and I'll let you know what's up with the t-shirt orders, and I'll let you know what goes on. If you answer the question correctly, I'll figure this all out. Well, that's it for fan season. Next episode is back to basics. Until then, this is Dan the Movie Man, signing off.